Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gail Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gailcarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter.
Hi, everyone. We have a delightful guest today by the name of Justin S. Grant. Listen to what he is. He is an entrepreneur. He's a singer, an author, a speaker, and a native of Santa Barbara, California, one of our favorite spots. As founder of an IT consultancy in LA, he acquired broad experience in the business sector. He earned a Master's of Arts degree from the University of Philosophical Research in Transformational Psychology and received an audio engineering certification from Musicians Institute in Hollywood and established a recording studio and record label. Now, there are two distinct business acumens, one on one end of the curve and one on the other. In the not-for-profit sphere, however, he served in multiple organizations as a board member, treasurer, technical director, and live performer. His #1 international best-selling book, Business and Spirituality, Secrets of Personal, Professional, and Planetary Evolution, offers a pragmatic path for truth seekers in the global era. Business and Spirituality preaches to the workplace, employing an omni-denominational voice, and speaks to a wide audience such as thought leaders, knowledge workers, entrepreneurs, executives, creatives, engineers, staff members, volunteers, and homemakers. And they can all gain new insights for synchronizing personal evolution with professional development, the advancement of groups, and the upliftment of our world. Justin, you sound like a bon vivant and a bon vivant and someone who is kind of a futurist in many ways. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. Happy to be here.
Well, I mean, it's such a dichotomy because on one side, you've got this Master's of Arts degree. On the other side, you've got the certification from the Musicians Institute. On the other side, your audience is so big. My gosh. So what inspired you to write the book at this time?
Right. Well, right in the book's title, Business and Spirituality, the word business has layers of meaning. So on a personal level, the word business refers to our busyness, whatever we are busy with in life. Perhaps we're a student, a teacher, an employee, engineer, or entrepreneur, etc. Now, in our society, most people live very busy lives, and the book provides timeless advice on how to merge our daily life with our eternal spiritual life to the benefit of both. Then, on the macro levels of society and the planet itself, the word business refers, of course, to businesses, organizations, and corporations. In relatively recent history, small business has become the main mode to survive and thrive in our society, and multinational corporations have rapidly risen to become the dominant forces in our world. Even though governments may be larger, really corporations act as the powers behind the thrones in our capitalist societies. So with power comes both opportunity and danger, and therefore the culturing of these almost almighty corporations is urgently intertwined with the well-being of our society and even the survival of our species on our imperiled planet. So the book offers both accessible and universally applicable secrets of personal, professional, and planetary evolution, as the subtitle says, which touch upon all of these themes that are both current and timeless.
Well, about 20 years ago now, I guess it's got to be at least 20 years, I was doing a lot of work as a consultant with many different companies. And the word spirituality was just like a no-no. You just couldn't even mention it because it was like, what? We don't have time for that. Now, I mean, it's still a no-no in many places, but it's gotten a lot more acceptance than it did 20 years ago, that's for sure. So can readers from any faith or with no faith benefit from the teachings in your book?
Absolutely. So the word spirituality in the book's title is certainly intertwined with faith and religion. And throughout history, religions have been the major bearers of spiritual teachings when operating how they were intended to. Now, in our multicultural times, the phrase spiritual but not religious has been gaining in popularity. And this phrase actually has roots in the set of spiritual teachings known as theosophy, which literally means divine wisdom, theosophy. And these teachings have been and continue to be given to humanity coincident with this spread of multiculturalism. And they are summarized and given practical applications throughout my book in order to appeal to the broadest possible audience. Secondly, we're living in a scientific age, and much good has come to our world because of this when, once again, scientific efforts operate how they are intended to serve and better life rather than pillage and oppress. So, to help the readers have faith in the teachings presented in the book, every topic and virtually every major point is supported with citations showing scientific backing for the important ideas and recommendations regarding the personal, professional, and spiritual topics covered throughout the work. So, for these summarized reasons, Gail, indeed, the book was written for busy people and open-minded people of all kinds, religious, non-religious, or anything in between.
Well, you did a lot of research for this, Justin. So how long did it take you to write this book?
Oh, well, eons, unofficially.
I can believe it.
Yeah, well, I've been studying these topics of spirituality and comparative religion since college, for a couple decades. And also that was coincident with my work as an IT consultant, which, as you mentioned in the intro, gave me broad experience because these days technology is like the nervous system of our world. So being a technology consultant took me into all sorts of different businesses, nonprofits, spiritual organizations, etc., and just gave me a very, I think, broad perspective of how this busy world works. So to answer your question of how long it took to write the book, I mean, unofficially, I was researching business and spirituality for decades. And then all of this culminated 5 years ago or so, getting a master's degree in transformational psychology, which could also be described as spiritual psychology. And psychology itself, psyche, means soul or mind. So psychology is the study of the human soul and mind. And once I graduated, I adapted and expanded my master's thesis into the book, Business and Spirituality. So in a sense, you could say 5 years. In another sense, you could say it took me 20 years. In another sense, it took lifetimes. It felt like it.
So what about your music career, though? Where does that fit into all of this?
Well, I've been doing music as a hobbyist for the same duration, my whole adult life since college, both sacred and popular music. And about 10 years ago, I went to audio engineering school in Hollywood. And I've been, again, pursuing not only the music, but the audio engineering as a hobbyist. And now I've transformed my life in that I've moved away from IT consulting, and I'm focusing on writing and then focused on writing the book and then promoting the book. And also soon I'll be releasing music. So there's a lot of balls in the air, but I am keeping busy, so can't complain.
I would say so. And of course, music is a terrific creative challenge. So, I mean, that kind of feeds the other part as well. But you also talk about things like diet and rest in business. Where does all of this fit into what you talk about?
Oh, right. Well, yeah, they're vital, of course. So optimizing both diet and rest is essential to optimizing the output of individuals and therefore of any kind of organization itself. So, on the topic of diet, it's simple enough to understand that what we put into our bodies will impact the output of our bodies and even the output potential of our minds. Now, from the key point that's explored in the book with scientific support is that for the most part, for most of human history, most humans were occupied with their own simple, straightforward, and all important survival. Therefore, people ate almost anything, and animal products, such as meats and dairy, provided potent nutrition that had many benefits. However, we no longer live with the same limitations as most of our ancestors did. We now have supermarkets, refrigerators, airtight bags and storage containers, etc. And so we have the freedom to completely rethink the dietary practices we have, for the most part, blindly inherited from the past. Now, broad scientific studies affirmed decades ago that a diet that is primarily plant-based, in contrast to a diet that's rich in animal products, supports near-term and long-term health. And obviously, all this interrelates with productivity, vision, inspiration, and therefore profitability. Furthermore, science shows that human biology has essentially everything in common with herbivores, and therefore eating meats, etc., on a regular basis exacts tremendous and needless strain on our delicate human organism. And like virtually anything else, as the many benefits of a plant-based diet are better understood, the practices will become more normalized and omnipresent. Now, on the topic of rest, scientific studies equate working while exhausted with working while intoxicated. And we've all heard that we must not drive or operate heavy machinery when we're under the influence. And this commandment surely relates to our important workplace activity also. So, just as serious leaders and team members don't show up to a work while intoxicated, similarly, we must attempt to not show up exhausted. Now, it's hard to get adequate rest in our hyperactive world, but if we focus on this need and respect common sense and science relating to the need, then that will surely help, at least. And culturally
Well, who
speaking,
has common sense, though? When when I look at what's going on in the world today, I have to say, Justin, that I'm not sure how much common sense is out there, but certainly I understand what you're talking about and how it reflects on the body and the mind and the thinking and all of that. But there's two different quotes that you have in your book. One is business meditation, and the other is corporate invocation. And I'm not sure I know what either one of those means.
Yeah, that's a good question. And that ties in the corporate invocation part, ties into the music side. So yeah, I'd be happy to explain those. So on the more materialistic terms, I'll define the terms separately, and then we can tie the meanings together. So the more materialistic terms, business and corporate, the word business generally means activity meant to generate financial profit by providing products and services to society. And in the context of my book, business also relates to our personal busyness, whatever our primary daily activities orbit around. Second, the term corporate is generally associated with corporations, which are often for-profit businesses, but actually the word corporate means any group of people that are effectively united as one body. Now, the more spiritual terms, meditation and invocation, relate to methods for bridging our ordinary personal awareness with our superordinary universal awareness. In the language of science, the techniques help us draw greater energy into our vital aura or group aura and our habitat. And in the language of religion, we are able to draw in more spirit with these practices. So meditation is a way of stilling our lower human self in order to receive peace, bliss, and guidance from our transpersonal self, and even from selves that are greater and beyond the human stage of energetic evolution, such as masters, archangels, and deities. And then the word invocation is similar to the word incantation, meaning a spell or the chanting of words that have magical power. And actually, in our language, the interrelationship between causes and effects and words and their powers is built right into the word spelling. When we combine letters into words and sound them into the world of form with focused attention, we create a spell, or in other words, an effect or result. So, Gail, to blend all of this together, the teachings in this book about the terms business meditation and corporate invocation are methods that can be used to blend our personal and professional actions into a wholeness of activity that is greater than the sum of the parts. And all of this can be spiritual, but not necessarily religious, in order to be appropriate within our mixed, multicultural workplace environments. So these related activities are ways that professional individuals and corporate groups can consciously evolve their awareness and therefore advance their shared activity by entering into deeper relationship with greater sources of energy and power. And at many Fortune 500 companies, NGOs, and organizations of all sizes, there are already flourishing programs for meditation with proven scientific support for their efficacy, improving wellness, and even their relationship to performance and profitability. And in addition to the mostly silent practice of meditation, invocation adds focused sound, which acts as another portal to heightened states of awareness and receptivity. Also, adding music and singing to our meditation can help with concentration and really is a lot more fun than just sitting there, so to speak. So, as the benefits of these methods are better understood, these movements will, in all likelihood, continue to swell and in turn help individuals and groups to prosper and thrive. And in my book, I expand on these topics and give practical advice for implementing these in ways that can both benefit the organization and keep everyone comfortable, because everyone has different sets of beliefs.
Well, I'm thinking of all these IT people and what you call computer geeks, and nerds, sitting at a computer, thinking about things in a spiritual manner and or playing music in their head. And I wonder, you're in that field, you talk to your peers, how often does that really occur?
Well, not enough, certainly, but
exactly.
Yeah. But as you said earlier, I mean, the world's lacking in common sense and in many respects. So, and also, as I was writing the book, I felt that many of the things I was saying were a bit on the obvious side. But first of all, you never know what people do or don't know, because we all focus on different things in life. And also, one of the topics, again, with scientific support that's cited in the book, is the importance of reminders. So even if we're told it's important to have good posture and important to do deep breathing, well, we all know that, but being reminded of it even multiple times a day really can help, because we all get focused on other things and we forget about things that we already knew temporarily. So yeah, I think the book provides effective reminders, expands on why these things are important in our life, and gives scientific support, because again, we are living in this scientific age. But what's interesting also about information technology is a lot of the technology terms are very similar to religious terms. I mean, we have Ethernet for networks, and ether is been something ethereal and spiritual in the past. And now we talk about sending all of our data up to the cloud. And of course, heaven is often associated with clouds. And also the new wireless charging for our devices is called qi, which is a Chinese word for energy. So it is interesting how coming out of Silicon Valley, somehow, some way, there are lots of spiritual terms getting intertwined with this most technical and scientific achievements that human beings are creating these days.
Well, it's interesting because I think that a lot of people don't really see the relationship between philosophy and religion and science, but you're really defining it pretty well. But we only have about 5 minutes left, so I want to make sure people know how to get in touch with you. I don't know if you have a gift for anybody. Perhaps there are things that we should have said that we haven't said. So how can people reach you, Justin?
Well, my website, justinsgrant.com, has information and links on everything, as well as social media links that are active and maintained. And yeah, on the website and social media, there are links to buying the book, either in print or ebook, and also an audiobook's been recorded, and that will be released hopefully soon. Also, there's information about corporate invocation music, which again is music that is spiritual but not necessarily religious, and therefore applicable to a multicultural setting and a workplace, which is ordinarily secular.
Did you write this music, Peter? I mean, did you, Justin? Did you write the music, or did you adapt it from something else?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, the tune for the first album, a collection of songs, it has roots in ancient Hinduism from India, and then what I've done is I've taken in Hinduism, most of the chants are basically different names of gods and goddesses, and what I've done is I've adapted these to use modern English words that are positive but not religious. Like a chant is named peace and prosperity, and another chant is named creativity and ingenuity. So if people are moved to, they can utilize these chants when they are in feeling that they're wanting to introduce these things into their personal and professional lives, and again, a spiritual but not religious way. So yeah, all of that's at the website, justinsgrant.com. And then soon, hopefully early next year, I'll be releasing popular music, which doesn't necessarily relate to the book, but it should be fun. So that's important too.
And when you release this music, Justin, how do people become aware of it? Just from your website, or do you do it through social media, or how do you let people know that this music is available?
Yeah, through the website, indeed, and through social media announcements as well. And then on the website, there is a contact form. So if people want to get in contact via email or get subscribed to a newsletter, that's all available at justinsgrant.com.
Fantastic. That's great. I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and I think it's wonderful what you're achieving. And I want to remind everybody about the name of your book. It's Business and Spirituality, things that normally don't go together. But anyway, Business and Spirituality, Secrets of Personal, Professional, and Planetary Evolution. And I know you relate all of this to, employee wellness, productivity, all of that. So, I think it's wonderful that you're able to bring this together because, usually you don't get someone with both sides of the coin, Justin, and that's what you have. You have your musical side and your creative side and your spiritual side, and then you have here I am, I'm an IT person, so this is what it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think that's just terrific. I mean, you just don't normally find that in people. So I really appreciate who you are and what you're doing and the availability of all of this. Any last words?
Well, I appreciate that, Gail. I'm very happy to be speaking with you here. Touching upon the first question that you asked me, and that's just what inspired me to write this book at this time, and that's that I believe there are many wonderful things that have come out of our mostly secular, mostly capitalist society. But obviously, there's always room for improvement. So the blending of these normally separate forces, business and spirituality, or matter and spirit, or yin and yang, so to speak, is really necessary to achieve balance, both personally and professionally, and even on a planetary scale. So I think it's vital, and it's been my life's work to blend it all together in this book. And I hope people will find some inspiration to use in their lives and in their workplaces, whatever that may be.
That's wonderful. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us today, Justin. And hopefully people will read your book, understand your philosophy, and take it from there. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Gail.
You've had the opportunity to get to know me over the last few years, and I'd like to get to know you as well. One of the things I'm offering is training for the media. I have a wonderful program that will get you ready for any radio or TV interview you might be offered. Many of you are doing wonderful things, but no one knows about them. Others of you are successful and wonder what's next. Whether you're in a business or have a special cause or a specific event you're promoting, media can help, and I can help you master your message so you can master the media. If this sounds interesting to you, email me at gailcarson13@gmail.com with media training in the subject line. I promise I will be in touch.